everybody, it's Cheyenne and welcome back to my channel. If you're thinking like, wow, I wonder what lip color that is, and you're loving it like I am, let me share it with you. It is the Are You Filming, the Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star Cosmetics collab. This is so good, and I got his palette too, which I had to get. I've never bought a Jeffree Star Cosmetics palette before, and I try not to buy a lot of makeup products because I believe that a lot of it's silly, you know, a lot of it's just to get the name and yada yada yada. But this palette, I actually really love the colors in it, and I love neon colors, and it had that really pretty neon color in the middle of it. But anyways, I decided to get this because I don't have a red lipstick. I don't wear red lipstick. I always wear nudes or browns. I'm kind of boring. I like a lot of nudes with my makeup. But I got this color, Are You Filming, and I'm so in love. It's so great. I have a couple of the velour liquid lipsticks from Jeffree Star Cosmetics, but they're from like a long time ago when they first came out. But his formula is so good. I forgot how great his formula is. This is so lightweight and so comfortable. Like, I feel like I'm wearing nothing. The color's great, pigment's great, like, oh my gosh. If you love this, like, try to get it. I know it's selling out like all the time, but they just did a restock and it sold out again. And trust me, it was hard to get this. Like, my husband's stepsister really wanted the Conspiracy palette for Christmas, so I really wanted to try to get it for her. And it was like $9.50. I set an alarm, I was waiting, went on to Jeffree Star Cosmetics, and on a separate computer went on to Morphe. Well, on my phone I was on Jeffree Star, and on the computer I was on Morphe. And Jeffree Star was completely shut down, like their site had crashed. But Morphe, I was able to get it into my cart with this. And then I was like sitting in a checkout line forever. And then finally on Jeffree Star, I was able to do the same thing. And then I also had my husband on his phone trying to get it. So we had 3 checkouts going. And we waited until almost 11 o'clock, and finally the Jeffree Star one went through, and I was able to check out and pay, and I was like, thank you. So I got 2 palettes and this, and the Morphe ones finally refreshed and it said that it was out of stock. So I just got super lucky. I know it was so hard, and if you got one, that's awesome. If you did, I'm so sorry, and hopefully you get one in the future. But this video is just turning all about into this, and it's not supposed to be about this, but I just wanted to share this because I really love this color. So if you can get your hands on it, try it too, because it's great. Anywho, into this video and what it's supposed to be, I have gotten some questions on Instagram, and regarding people messaging me on Instagram, thank you so much, and I try to answer them, you know, if I can or as quickly as I can, but I actually do get quite a few on there. I'm getting around 10 a day, so I'm trying to respond to them, and they're very long messages with a lot of questions, so it does take me a little bit to respond, but I'm trying. So if you do send me a message on there and I don't get to it, or it takes me a while, again, I'm sorry, but I'm trying to respond to them, and I will probably get to a point where it's going to be hard for me to respond to everybody, but right now I'm really trying to respond to everybody. But anywho, I've gotten quite a few questions on there recently asking me if I think dental assisting school is worth it, if you should go into school, if I think you should just get trained in an office. So first, I just want to say that I do live in Oregon, and there are different requirements for every state, and you can go on danby.org to see what your state requirements are. But like Oregon, there actually is quite a bit of requirements that you need to be a dental assistant. But like Washington, you don't need your radiology license. Alabama, you don't really need any licenses at all. Texas has some, you know, different type of requirements. My husband and I actually were thinking about moving to Texas, and I looked into it, and you have to be working as a dental assistant for like 2 years to get like your sealant and your soft reline certifications. Like, there's different requirements for every state. Also pay and education cost and everything like that. It's all different. So this is just my experience in Oregon. So yes, take a look and see what your state requirements are. But anywho, so in Oregon, like I said, there are quite a bit of requirements. You have to have your radiology license, you have to go through a program, you have to have, you know, in order to get your EFTA, you have to have your Oregon Basic and then your EFTA to get your EFTA certification. And then we can do like sealants, soft read lines, we can now pack cord, we could also do restorative if we take a restorative course. There's lots of things that we can do within Oregon, but there are requirements to do so. Now, to my knowledge, when you sign up on Danby in Oregon to take tests, they ask you for a school ID number. So I believe that you have to go through a program here in order to take your Danby test. Now, I could be wrong, so if I'm wrong, please leave that information down below. But that is my understanding, that you have to have some kind of program that you went through in order to take these tests, especially your EFTA one. I don't think that you can just be trained in an office here and take your test. I believe that you have to go through some kind of program. And again, if I'm wrong, which I might be, just let us know down below. Let me talk about my school experience, okay? So I went through a community college, and the programs in my area, okay, there is a community college that has a program that's $10,000. That is the only program I knew of when I originally decided to do dental assisting. Now, how I found dental assisting was I was already going to this community college. I had a lot of credits, and I was getting to the point where I either needed to transfer to university or pick some kind of trade or program to do. And my guidance counselor suggested dental assisting, and I was like, oh, okay, like that sounds great. Like that actually sounds really interesting. And I applied for the program and I got accepted, and then I started doing, you know, the dental assisting program. Now, when I was in the program, or once I graduated, I heard there were other dental assisting programs. There was a program that was taught by an assistant and a dentist here in town that I think was about $4,000. There was also another like trade school that wasn't part of the community college called, I think it's called Abdil. And they had a dental assisting program that I think was like $6,000. Could be wrong on the price, but somewhere around there. So I definitely chose the more expensive program. Now, my program also has an associate's degree attached to it. I had lots of credits, so I was able to do that, but yes, you need an associate's degree to get into my program. Also, in my area, I feel like my program has a better reputation, and I'm not saying that it's like there's not assistance in the other programs that aren't good. I just think that we get more training in my program. And when I got out of school and I went, them knowing that I went to this specific program and they know that it's longer and it's more involved, that they felt that I was more ready to work in an office. Also, my program places you into offices to work. We do our practicum sites there. So that was something also that was intriguing to me, was they would help you find a job, basically. So in my program, the first semester we did infection control. Second semester was Oregon Basic. Oh, I'm sorry. First semester was infection control. Second semester was radiology. Third was Oregon Basic. Fourth was EFTA. So we did a test each term, okay? My last term, I did feel that I didn't really need to be in the program for it. I felt, you know, I was already in an office. We started our practicum site, I believe, in our second semester. So I was already in an office working, and I just felt like I could have done my EFTA on my own, because my last term there, we just read out of the textbook and studied for our EFTA test. And I didn't leave with my EFTA certification, because in order to get your EFTA certification, you have to get a checkoff list completed with a dentist and you have to sign off on it. So I had to do all these things. So I passed my test, but I still have this big checkoff list that I had to complete with my dentist in order to get my actual certification. So I did feel like that last term was a waste. Now, to my knowledge now, would I go through my program again? Yes, 100%. Because like I said, I do feel like it has a better reputation. I feel like they did teach me a lot. We had dentists that worked within the program, so I met a lot of dentists. We had hygienists and assistants that came into the program, so I met a lot of them. Our instructors worked in offices, so I was able to meet a lot of people in order to get a job. As if I felt if I did the other programs, I wouldn't have met, you know, a lot of people in the industry to get a job. Plus my program did place me into a practicum site, which I worked in a couple of them, and I was able to gain experience and then also in the end get a job at one of those practicum sites. Now, I get many messages about programs. I do not think an online program is worth the money. I would not pay for an online program. The thing about dental assisting is I don't think you learn a lot just by reading. I personally don't. I'm a visual learner. I learned the most in my practicum site in my office, okay? So even though my program helped me because I was didn't know anything about the test, I didn't know what certifications I needed, my program guided me and helped me pass the test and, you know, learn what I needed to learn in the program and like made things make sense to me and then helped me get my foot in the door into offices. I learned the most in my offices, okay? The more you do something, the more you're going to learn. You can read about tray setups all you want, but until you're actually doing it and doing it every day, that's when it's gonna click. I do not think online classes for dental assisting is something you should do. I think if that's your only option in your area, that you should just go to an office that's willing to train you or an office that will let you, you know, help out their intern. I don't think you should pay for an online program. I don't think those are worth it at all. I also think that when selecting your program, you need to look into what does have a good reputation, okay? What are programs that assistants who have jobs have graduated from? Ask around, like the dentistry community, like it's crazy. If I know so many people that work in dentistry because I'm a dental assistant and you know, everyone talks. We all know what offices to work at, what offices not to work at, which programs are good, which programs are not good. Even like reputation with like assistants or hygienists or dentists, those all get around, okay? And I don't live in a super small town, but it's not huge. It has like I'm trying to think of what the population is, like, I don't know, 80,000 or something. Quite a lot of people, but not like New York City, but the reputation you do hear a lot about, okay? So ask around, ask what program has a good reputation. One program here in particular doesn't. I'm not gonna say which one. It's not the one I went to. But one program here does not have a good reputation. And when I got like one of my bigger jobs at a school working at a clinic, they were a little bit more skeptical to hire from this program because they felt that the assistants weren't properly trained or they weren't given a lot of knowledge in this program. So yes, no to online programs. Don't do it, all right? Would I go to dental assisting school? 100%. Now, the only time that I wouldn't is if I was living in a state that you don't need a lot of certifications. Like Alabama, you don't need any certifications, I don't believe. So I would, if I was interested in dental assisting, I would just contact offices and see if they're willing to train me, tell them I was interested. I wouldn't go through school if I didn't need to. But here in Oregon, we do have a lot of requirements. But yeah, if you didn't need to, I wouldn't do it. But again, look up your state requirements and see if you need to in your town. Also, another thing to do is, you know, figure out what you can afford. I personally, I'm very open and honest about what I make and how much schooling cost me, what I started out with making. I don't have a problem saying that. I get comments, people say that I don't make a lot of money. I get people that can't believe how much money I make. You know, it's all depends on you. I didn't have financial aid through school. I had to pay everything out of pocket. So yeah, I'm $10,000 in student loan debt. Like I had to pay that, I need to pay that back. I've got it down a little bit, but I'm still working to pay that off. I don't have any help financially. So if your parents are able to help, if you get financial aid, if you this or that, and you're able to cover more of those expenses, great, do it. Like that's fantastic. But make sure you do a program that you can afford. I know price, you know, can be a big factor too. So check out to see how much your programs cost. Because honestly, when I first started out, if I would have known there was a program that cost like $3,000, I probably would have done that, you know, because I didn't have the money and it was tough to I don't like being in debt, so now I'm in debt, but I'm working it out. I'm paying it off. But yes, I'm trying to think if I have any other questions to answer about schooling. I get some questions too asking like what dental assisting school is. All programs are different, but yes, there's gonna be a lot of textbook reading about, you know, tray setups, what instruments are, learning your teeth, your teeth surfaces, a lot about like medical emergencies, how to handle them. You're gonna take a CPR class, you're gonna take infection control because you need to make sure you are aware of all the potential risk and like diseases you could get. And then there are gonna be some lab works, you know, working with like alginate impressions, which I do have a video on if you guys are interested in watching, matrix bands, and then other lab stuff you might do, like prophies. When you do your x-rays, you're gonna be taking x-rays on, you know, patients. In my program, we had to find 10 patients that were willing to let us do x-rays on. So yeah, things like that. And then they will give you the resources and the help to pass your DAMB test. And then hopefully, if you're in a good program, they might even help you get a job or place you in an office to do a practicum site. But yeah, that's what you can expect from school. Now, like I say, again, every program is different, okay? And just every program's different. Just do your research, look at how much they cost, ask about reputation. Don't be afraid to call up a dental office and just let them know. Like, we had a girl come into our office last week that just wanted to talk to our dentist because she's interested in being a dentist, and they're all willing to talk. They, you know, everyone wants to talk, and especially dentists, they love to talk. So don't be afraid. When I was in school, I called quite a few dental offices and asked if I could interview assistants or interview dentists, hygienists, and just ask them like what they were looking for in assistants or schooling they did or any recommendations for me. And you can find out a lot that way. Don't be afraid to do that. But yeah, I hope you guys found this video helpful, and hopefully it answered some of your questions about school. If you have any other ones, please leave them down below and I will try to answer them, or maybe some other viewers can answer them for you. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.